2 years ago, Marcus Robinson returned to the area where he began his ministry during the late 70s. For 20 years, he served a different community at sea, ministering to all ranks through the Falklands conflict and the Gulf Wars as a senior Royal Navy Chaplain. What made you decide to up sticks and try out a different life?
Well, I realised one day that I could remain in Snowdonia for many happy years, and that's absolutely true, but I've always been a little bit of an adventurer. I remember one old saying that, one sometimes cannot discover new oceans unless one has the courage to lose sight of the shore. And if I can say, that's the spirit of the old Celtic saints as well, and I've always tried to live by that and move on to new seas and new oceans.
And tell me a bit about your experiences with the Navy.
Well, the Navy gave me a different opportunity. The position of chaplain allows you to get close to people in a way sometimes that the position of a minister in the local community doesn't. People can sometimes distance you in the local community. You're looked at with a certain degree of prejudice, if I may say. Whereas in the Navy, you have the opportunity to build up a much closer bond. I remember being on one aircraft carrier, for instance, when one of the aircraft hit the water at such a velocity that the pilot was instantly killed. But naturally the boys went out to look for him. And the only thing they could discover was his helmet. The force of the impact had simply left the helmet on the surface of the water. And they were so shocked that the minute they came back on board and they saw me standing there, and they just came to me and they just put it in my hand. It was almost an appeal from the heart. Padre, what can we do in a time like this? And those are times that I often gathered a special service together to remember the deceased and to try and help people get over the very shocking things that happened all too regularly, I'm afraid.
Did you yourself have a near-death experience?
Yes, I had to face ditching in a helicopter myself in the Falklands arena, and that in itself brings you to an awareness of how fragile life is and how fortunate any of us are to survive from day to day. But it's taught me to enjoy every day of my life and to do one's best, especially in memory of those who are no longer with us.
So you left Llanberis, travelled the world, but something brought you back here?
Oh, I think I wouldn't be Welsh unless something called me back. There's always the hiraeth, isn't there? There's always the coming back. And where I'm standing today is a place where my mother's family has been for over 500 years, and it's a remarkable sense of return. I'm very fortunate to have returned in one piece after all my travels. I remember a great saying of Tennyson's which simply says that the old order changeth, yielding place to new, and God fulfills himself in many ways, lest one good custom should corrupt the world, reminding us that we shouldn't always hold on to even the best things from the past, because God and his spirit is always moving before us, and our real challenge is to catch up with where he's leading us.